It's a big election night here in California.
Indeed, our team has been tracking the results since the polls closed at 8 p.m.
We start with the race for governor, where the top two vote getters will advance to November's general election, regardless of their party.
So let's take a look at the results in the governor's race right now. There you see it. Remember, the top two advance, and right now, with 69% of precincts reporting, we have Steve Hilton with 27% and Javier Becerra with 26% of the vote.
Yeah, we've been hearing from a lot of the candidates tonight. The candidates have also been holding watch parties throughout the state tonight. We have live team coverage.
ABC 10's Alex Bell is in San Francisco at Tom Steyer's watch party. ABC 10's Jenny Huh is in Southern California at Javier Becerra's watch party.
Richard Allen is at Steve Hilton's watch party in Huntington Beach. And we start with Alex Bell in San Francisco. A big night for the Steyer campaign as well. Alex, what are you hearing on the ground?
Well, we actually just heard Tom Steyer. And look, his messaging was really no different than what we've been hearing throughout the campaign. And that's affordability is front and center. He said, look, people can no longer afford to live in California. It's become a real issue, and that's always been his focus. And he said really his vision for California is that the wealthy pay their fair share, not by charity, but by law. Here's what else he had to say to his supporters tonight.
This race, more than any other in recent memory, laid bare the basic operating principle of American politics, a very uncomfortable truth. Money talks. In this race, we saw what corporate money tends to ask for: higher rents, lower wages, permission to pollute, to price gouge, and to treat workers as disposable. And in this race, we saw the way that money from some of the wealthiest people and corporations in the history of the world, mobilized when I said I'd tax it fairly.
Now you heard him talk about corporations right there. He talked about the corporations like PG&E who have spent millions in ads against Steyer. And he said, look, it wasn't personal. Corporations, he believes, they knew what he could do if he were to be elected. I also want to mention that he walked out to Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down," and I think that was really the overall vibe and message to his supporters. He's not going to back down. He said, look, they're not just looking at the numbers tonight. Ballots still have to be counted. We know the polls closed just a little bit ago here in California, but they're going to be watching the numbers very closely. But they said do not count them out quite yet. Live in San Francisco, Alex Bell, ABC 10.
Okay, quite the fiery speech, Alex, indeed. And like our analyst had said, it's going to take a while for these full results in the top two to be dwindled down here for us. So, Alex Bell, thank you for that update.
And don't forget, all top three candidates spoke at their watch parties tonight. Yeah,
former Attorney General and former Health and Human Service Secretary Javier Becerra spoke moments ago. Remember, his daughters and wife were brought up on stage. ABC 10's Jenny Huh is in Los Angeles tonight with the latest.
Well, good evening from the Javier Becerra campaign watch party. As you can hear, the music is very celebratory. The crowd is also cheering and they're very excited. This is very much the mood of the night, as early results show Javier Becerra as one of the leading candidates, one of the top two leading candidates likely to advance to November. And so even as Javier Becerra took to the stage to talk, again, the mood was very excited, including support and the presence of many California legislators that made it down to Los Angeles to cheer on the Democratic candidate for governor. Now, in his speech, Becerra really emphasized the immigrant story, how his parents with very little money immigrated to the United States for a better life for their kids and ended up achieving that. Becerra said he really wants to make sure that California dream is available to all families like his. And so he said he is the product of the sacrifice of his parents, and he was once the underdog indeed in this gubernatorial race, but like his parents, never gave up and ultimately made it as one of the front runners to emerge in this race. And he acknowledged lots of ballots to be counted, but again, it looks like he is on track to advance to November. He would be the first Latino governor of California in over 100 years, so this could very much be history in the making. Again, still a lot of ballots to be counted, but the mood is indeed celebratory here in downtown Los Angeles. We'll be tracking all the latest updates in this race to succeed Governor Gavin Newsom. For now, in downtown Los Angeles, Jenny Huh, ABC 10.